HOA dumped 15 tons of trash on my land. I delivered it right back to their doorsteps. Let me tell you something about owning land. Real land, not a strip of manicured turf fenced off by bylaws and brittle Karens in tennis visors. I'm talking about 5 acres passed down from my granddad, cleared by hand, worked by sweat, and respected by anyone with a brain and boots. But apparently, the HOA next door didn't get the memo. Now, my property butts up against Hollow Glen, a gated suburban fantasy land ruled by the local HOA cartel. They paved over what used to be part of our family's orchard, called it a private greenbelt, and started acting like my land was their dumping ground. It started subtle, a few paint cans here, a busted lawn chair there. Then one morning I walked out to find a mountain of debris-busted drywall, rotting fence posts, plastic bags full of who knows what dumped right on the back slope of my land. 15 freaking tons. No note, no apology, just silence. But here's the thing, they didn't know I have trail cams, and they caught everything, including the HOA maintenance crew wearing polos with the Hollow Glen logo, offloading that mess from 3 trailers under cover of dawn, like they were pulling off a heist on the History Channel. I watched that footage over black coffee, calm as hell, because when you've been in the military, you learn that patience is a weapon. I called the HOA president. You might know her, Karen Wellington. Power-walking tyrant, hates dogs, hates children, lives for bylaws. She answered like she was already annoyed. Mr. Sawyer, this isn't a good time, I cut in. Karen, your crew dumped 15 tons of garbage on my land. I have video. You have 2 options: clean it up within 48 hours, or I'll handle it myself, she scoffed. That slope is technically unregulated buffer space. Community maintenance overflow sometimes ends up there. You're welcome to file a complaint with the board. Click, no apology, no concern, no idea who she was dealing with. So I made a few calls, rented 2 flatbed trailers, borrowed a buddy's forklift, and brought in 4 guys from my old construction crew. We donned gloves, goggles, and petty vengeance, and moved every single pound of that trash right back into Hollow Glen. But not just dumped anywhere. No, sir. We delivered it piece by piece to each of the HOA board members' front yards, labeled and documented. Old fence posts, Karen's hydrangea bed, broken patio furniture, propped neatly under Greg the treasurer's awning, bags of mulch-stained cardboard lined up like decor across Tammy's pristine cobblestone path. And for Karen, the grand finale, a perfectly stacked 6-foot-high mound of drywall and plastic dead center on her lawn with a printed sign taped to the top that read, "Return to sender." Property boundaries are public record. By 9 a.m. the next day, Hollow Glen looked like a landfill dressed in khakis. Neighbors were waking up, jaws dropping, phones came out, kids pointed. One guy yelled, "Yo, is this modern art or revenge?" Karen came barreling out in flip-flops and fury. She was waving HOA citations like holy scripture, screaming something about trespassing and community harmony. I calmly walked up with my folder full of dated footage, GPS boundary overlays, and my property deed, handed her a copy, said, "I gave you 48 hours. You ignored me, so I returned your property respectfully, and in broad daylight. Any issue you have now is your own trash problem." She threatened to call the sheriff. Spoiler, I already had. Deputy Knowles is an old friend. He showed up 10 minutes later, took one look at the video and the mess, and said, "Well, ma'am, looks like it's just been redistributed to the rightful owners." By noon, Karen's fortress of fake authority was cracking. Board members were furious, not at me, but at her. And the HOA email thread leaked 2 days later, full of finger-pointing, resignations, and one message that just said, "He told you not to poke the bear." Cleanup crews came that weekend, on their dime. I haven't seen another bag of trash since. But just in case, I mounted a 6-foot sign on my fence that reads, "Private property trespassers will be featured on next week's live stream." Because out here, we don't throw fits. We return fire professionally. Now, what do you think if someone dumped trash on your property and turned a deaf ear? Would you just bear with it, or return the goods legally like I did, Comment below Team HOA or Team Bear with a trailer the end.